Imagine a baby girl left behind in a small Chinese town whose life would take a remarkable turn, defying all expectations. From humble beginnings in a Hunan orphanage to becoming the cherished daughter of one of the world's wealthiest men, this is the kind of story that reminds us how dramatically life can change in an instant. In 2006, when Jeff Bezos arrived in China, the news sent ripples through the entire Asian tech industry. After all, this was the man behind Amazon, the e-commerce giant, a regular on Forbes' Billionaire list, and someone with enough wealth to claim the top spot. Every tech CEO in China was eager for a meeting, hoping to catch his attention. But something puzzled them. Why would a business mogul like Bezos come to China without any obvious business agenda? What shocked them even more was his destination. Instead of heading to Beijing or Shanghai, Bezos and his wife MacKenzie traveled to a modest children's welfare center in Changsha, Hunan. They weren't there for business at all. They were looking to adopt a child. The couple already had 3 sons, but had always wanted a daughter. Now that they were past the age for having more biological children, they decided adoption was the perfect solution. This wasn't unusual in America, where many families, wealthy or not, adopt children both domestically and internationally. Following advice from friends who had adopted from China, the Bezos family decided to try their luck there. Bezos was no stranger to China. Back in 2004, when he already commanded a trillion-dollar empire, he had entered the Chinese market by acquiring an e-commerce site founded by Lei Jun for $75 million. Still, despite his familiarity with the country, he felt nervous about the adoption. He believed in destiny and wanted to find the perfect child who was meant to be part of their family. After visiting several orphanages with the help of friends, they finally arrived at an unassuming welfare center in Changsha. As they walked in, they noticed all the children playing, each in their own little world. Most kids stared curiously at the foreign visitors but kept their distance, except for one little girl, around 2 or 3 years old. The moment she spotted the couple, she ran right up to them, her face full of innocent curiosity, asking, "Who are you looking for?" in Chinese. Though they couldn't understand her words, something clicked for Bezos in that moment. This was the daughter they had been searching for. With their 3 rambunctious sons at home, this sweet, outgoing little girl seemed perfect. Both Jeff and MacKenzie knelt down to hold her hands, despite the language barrier preventing any real conversation. Through their interpreter, they learned her story. She was only 2 years old, having arrived at the orphanage in the summer of 2004. A group of elderly women doing their morning exercises in a local park had discovered her crying in some bushes, wrapped in a thin cotton blanket with a note. The note included her birth date and a heartbreaking message: "Mom and Dad are sorry. We hope you find a good family." The women immediately contacted the police and hospital, but with limited surveillance technology back then, authorities couldn't trace her parents. After a brief hospital stay, she was transferred to the Changsha Children's Welfare Center, where she had remained ever since. Many potential parents had come looking to adopt, but most wanted boys. No one had shown interest in this little girl until the Bezos family arrived. Unlike in much of Asia, gender preference wasn't an issue for Western families. Jeff and MacKenzie had specifically wanted a daughter, and after hearing her story, they felt an even stronger connection. The little girl, despite not understanding their language, seemed to enjoy talking with them. When she learned she finally had a family, she happily left the welfare center with them, unaware that her life was about to change completely. Typically, adoptive families and children need time to adjust to each other, but this wasn't the case with the Bezos family. Not only did Jeff and MacKenzie feel an immediate bond with their new daughter, but their 3 sons also adored their little sister, always surrounding her and teaching her English whenever possible. Bezos treated her like his own flesh and blood, cherishing her like a precious jewel. His business was thriving, so money wasn't an issue, just his busy schedule. Whenever he had free time, he devoted it entirely to his family. To protect her privacy, he never revealed any personal information about her, which is why to this day, nobody knows her name. He hired the best nannies to care for her and the best language tutors to teach her English. Moreover, he made sure she retained her native language by employing a Chinese language teacher who spoke with her daily, preventing her from forgetting her mother tongue as she became fluent in English. Bezos was prepared to support her if she ever wanted to return to China to search for her biological parents. After living together for some time, Bezos noticed something peculiar about his daughter. She was incredibly frugal. Despite receiving generous pocket money, she rarely spent it. On the rare occasions when she bought something, it might be a pair of shoes on sale from an unknown brand. Frugality is deeply ingrained in Chinese culture, and even living in America couldn't change this almost innate habit. However, in the household of the world's richest man, such extreme thriftiness seemed unnecessary. Bezos's business was still growing and money was no object. Yet, he didn't view her frugality as a flaw. Coming from humble beginnings himself, he understood the value of careful spending. Bezos's dedication to adoption stemmed from his own childhood. After his mother remarried, he was raised by his stepfather, with whom he formed a bond stronger than many biological father-son relationships. When Bezos became successful, he gifted his stepfather $60 billion in assets as thanks for his love and guidance. Now, as an adoptive father himself, Bezos wanted to provide the same thoughtful nurturing. To help his daughter develop a healthier relationship with money, he gave her $200,000 monthly, instructing her to spend it all and keep a detailed record of her expenditures. For him, this sum was insignificant, and he wanted her to understand the value of money without being constrained by excessive frugality. He worried that growing up in such abundance might disconnect her from financial reality if she merely followed her instinct to save. In 2019, when Bezos and his wife of 25 years, MacKenzie, divorced, he gave her $38 billion in assets, instantly making her one of the world's wealthiest women. This sparked worldwide interest in how his fortune would eventually be distributed. Under American law, adopted children have the same inheritance rights as biological ones, and given how Bezos and his sons cherish their daughter/sister, she could legally inherit at least $30 billion. That year, this fortunate young girl was only 15 years old. From an abandoned baby to a member of the world's wealthiest family, she has grown into a confident, graceful young woman. Despite her parents' divorce, she remains beloved by both. "You were abandoned by some, but I'll be your angel," might summarize her journey. Though initially unfortunate to be left by her birth parents, she found extraordinary luck in being embraced by the Bezos family. It seems certain that she'll live a life of happiness and privilege beyond what her biological parents could have imagined.